So building your business operating system or the systems required in your business for it to run consistently can be challenging. But what I've done is worked with many clients and worked on my own business myself and put together kind of my 7 steps for building business systems. So you can download it from ActionHTX.com, or you may have already done so. If you look at the back of the ebook, you're going to have a little checklist that's going to go through it. I'm just going to help explain a little bit of it. And then obviously if you have any questions, you can book a call, completely complimentary, 20 minutes we can go through, because there is some nuances with it depending on your business and where you are. So step 1 is about making sure that your goals are set and that everyone in the company understands what they are. It's going to make it easier for you to get the systems created that you need to if everyone understands what the goals are. So at the beginner level, it's broken into really your 1-year goal or your 2-year goal that you're focused on. Those goals need to be SMART. So specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, and time-bound. If you have those things combined together, you have a SMART goal. Second step is understanding the organization of where it is now and also where you want it to be, but looking at not just the organization, but what are the key responsibilities for each of those persons. Now, I would recommend that you have three core responsibilities inside of each of them. It's very similar to an org chart, just broken down a little bit more with those responsibilities. Making sure those responsibilities don't overlap too much, because at the end of the day, if one person is responsible, you've got it. If 2 people are responsible for it, nothing's going to happen. So making sure that that's very detailed out is a real key step. So step 3 is getting your flow maps organized and documented. I love swim lane maps, which is where the different positions are on one side and you're mapping it and seeing how they cross the lanes and who's responsible for each. So it gives you a little bit more detail. Ideally, you want to start with order to delivery for most businesses, so you map out that current state or the state that you have, which is going to give you the best results. This allows everyone to understand where they are inside of the swim lane and what responsibilities are theirs and theirs alone, and what are they doing that's getting passed to someone else, and it's going to become their responsibility, but that quality of work has to be there to make sure that it's working for everyone and the customer at the end of the day. Step 4 is regarding the policies inside of your business. Now, I'm not an expert inside of writing policies. There are professionals for that. There's HR professionals. There's business attorneys that can make sure that you have the right documentation, the right policies in place for your state, city, the type of work that you're doing. But the basics will be your employee handbook, anything to do with money and company property. So making sure that those things are put down in place and centralized is really important. Step 5, we go into the how-to manuals, is what I like to call them, but they're not really manuals. Checklists and videos are what you really need to do. A great way to start is a RACI diagram, and I can explain more about that at a later date. But understanding what the responsibilities are for everyone that you've already had in your org chart, and then working through, here's the checklist, here's the video, screen sharing or screen recording is super easy to do there, or even using a GoPro type camera and recording, this is how to do the activity. This is going to give you your core. So making sure, again, if you look at your flow map, you look at your organizational chart, it's going to give you the main components that you want to make sure that you have how-to manuals written down, documented, and again, in that centralized location. Step 6 is where we look at performance management, and that is our metrics that we're going to use to make sure that each position is demonstrating the standard and achieving that or more. We already have our systems and processes all organized inside of the how-to manual, so we know what someone should be able to do if they've been trained and when they've been trained and gone through the manuals and following it to the extent that we've documented it. Every person in the organization should maybe have 6 key metrics, more than a handful, right? Just one more than a handful, 6 key metrics that they are measuring themselves on so they know where they are. Now that's reported up in either weekly meetings, bi-weekly meetings, however your organization wants to run it. But everyone understanding these are the metrics that I'm focused on, I'm working on, that this is going to deliver the goal at the end of the day. That is the important piece around this step in step 6. And finally, step 7 is kind of the system overview or the location for everything that you've put together. Now you can start this at the beginning and put your goals in, and that's what I definitely recommend to people. But we have so many options these days. We have Gmail, or Google Drive, we have Dropbox, there's Teams sites as well that it's very easy to find a centralized location that you can organize and put together so that these are the manuals, this is our policies, these are our organizational charts with the responsibilities. All this can be shared with everyone. If there is something that's a little bit unique, now that can be access controlled, but most people inside of the organization are going to have access to all of these documents because that's the documents they need to perform their job. You've got your system in there. 80% of your operation is now documented just going through these 7 steps. I made it sound a little bit easy going through it. I've done this hundreds of times with all different types of businesses, and I'd love to talk to you about how we could implement these 7 steps into your business as well. So if you want, you can reach out to me at ActionHTX.com, or you can click the link below. We can set up a 20-minute free phone call. We'll talk through these 7 steps and what are most important for you and where you're struggling the most to get them implemented, and see what we can put together for our roadmap for you and your business implementing business operating systems and having a consistent way of doing business. I'm Andrew Buchan, your Business Accelerator.